school Tony, always in the barbershop. She keep me about this, she keep about that. My boy a BDO fucking lamb riding now. They say don't be nigga put on no work. Shut the fuck up! Y'all niggas ain't no shit! All you motherfuckers talking about, she keep ain't no hitter, she keep ain't this, she keep a fake. Shut the fuck up! Y'all don't really want that shit. Stop that nigga got to go to the right shit. She get the police and shit. Niggas got probation fucking. I'm weird. Motherfuckers not fucking playing them like this. Look at the savages of them. I'm not catching that motherfucker talking shit about GP. I'm fucking beating their ass. I'm not fucking playing no more. None of niggas roll up risky now, risky now, risky now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's the latest, the greatest edition, the March-themed Nick's Nonfiction, here with your host, Nick Muniz. Today on the program, we have got Christina Hoff Sommers, The War on Boys. This just in, nutritionists have found a food that completely kills the sex drive in women. It's called wedding cake. Why do women have flowers on the front of their underwear? It's in memory of all the faces that were buried there. Women are like square roots. If they're over 25, you can't do them in your head. Got some big announcements in the bonus segment today. If you're even listening, skip ahead till the end. Or don't. In this book, Sommers argues that the problem of male underachievement is persistent and worsening. The main point is how the war against boys is harming our economic future. How boy-averse trends such as the decline of recess and zero-tolerance disciplinary policies have turned our schools into hostile environments for boys. So I got a couple off-the-rail arguments today. The schools, they're meant to feminize you. Dumb us down, Skinner. Look into that guy's philosophy. He set up the entire school system. I didn't even realize it. I'm a philologist. I study guys named Phil. That's the study of ideas. So once you learn all that, you decode everything. Quote, but what is hard to understand is why the math and science gap launched a massive movement on behalf of girls, and yet a much larger gap in reading and writing and school engagement created no comparable effort for boys. Chicks are failing at math, so they get STEM programs. Boys can't read, and I'm the only one doing anything. Where are all the programs for these dudes who can't read? Quote, children need to be moral more than they need to be in touch with their feelings. They need to be well educated more than they... She has a bunch of classroom studies. It's real technical. We're teaching our kids garbage. Believe all women? Really? All of them? The dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's a year-old joke. Transgender school time. You think I'm gonna fucking fall for that bait? That being said, I do have a lot of respect for transgender women. That surgery takes balls. Get it? One of her better arguments in the book, she says, modern feminism is irrational hostility towards men. So if all men are trash and everyone's equal, doesn't that make women? We're just doing chick logic today. It's gonna get political even though I'm freaking independent. Women, they treat me like a god. They ignore me until they need something. What candy has the most progressive pronouns? Hershey. You're gonna think I'm a misogynist for this one. I genuinely believe that all world leaders should be women. You know, instead of going to war, they would just stop talking to each other.
Holy crap!
We'll be right back with the About the Author.
Do Get more ass than a toilet seat. 3 to the 1 from the 1 to the 3. I met a bad bitch last night in the D. Let me tell you how I made her leave with me. Conversation and Hennessy. I've been to the motherfucking mountaintop. Heard motherfuckers talk, seen them drop. If I ain't got a weapon, I'ma pick up a rock. And when I bust your ass, I'm gonna continue to rock. Get your ass on the wall with your 2 left feet. It's real easy, just follow the beat. Don't let that fine girl pass you by. Look real close, control like.
Shut the up about our body.
About the author Christina Hoff Sommers. Christina Marie Hoff Sommers, born 1950, is an American author and philosopher. I've made jokes on past shows that there's no women philosophers. I was wrong. Harry shit on Instagram, patreon.com/niche. Sommers is known for her critique of contemporary feminism. Her work includes the books Who Stole Feminism, 1994, and The War on Boys in 2000. She was ahead of her time at this one. And this is the end of the first wave, second wave, third wave we've done. Starts with Betty Friedan and basically ends with this bitch. Did you hear about the new feminine perfume SSY? It takes the PU out of pussy. Be right back, niggas.
Luca. Bueno. Pinyu. Bueno. Pinyu.
Going out on a date with a guy makes me a slut, then that's just what I'm gonna be.
I don't think going out on a date makes you a slut, but having sex with different men makes you a slut.
Well, what does it make you if you have sex with different women?
A slut maker.
Christina Hoff Sommers, The War on Boys, Chapter 1, No Country for Young Men. Weak fart. Skip ahead to the end. This whole thing is a bit as well, so let's not give it away. Quote, American feminism is currently dominated by a group of women who seek to persuade the public that American women are not the free creatures we think we are. The leaders are theorists of the women's movement believe that our society is best described as a patriarchy, a male hegemony, a sex-gender system, in which the dominant gender works to keep women cowering and submissive. I check my theories. These hoes, men are in control. Then how is Oprah so fucking rich? Like, there's no secret handshakes that dudes know unless you're a Freemason. If you could work as hard as we do, we would hire you. But this is when women lose their mind. There's a secret society of men. There are a few, but women are also in it. Quote, the feminists who hold the divisive view of our social and political reality believe we are in a gender war, and they are eager to disseminate stories of atrocity that are designed to alter women in their plight. The gender feminists, as I shall call them, believe that all our institutions from the state of the family to the grade schools perpetuate male dominance. It's like the further we get from 2008, the dumber third wave feminism is. Women are fighting windmills, real men fight governments. Realize who the enemy is. Okay, it's just division. It's a psyop. I don't know who you're trying to put me in a box with right now. Men versus women. Let's go, baby. Feminists believe that women are virtually under siege. Gender feminists naturally seek recruits to their side of the gender war. They seek support. They seek vindication. They seek ammunition. Kind of badass. The chicks, They're ready to go to war. And if this was an actual battle, I would rip your tits off. The point of women, I'll make a point, it's to civilize men. Like, if you think you would win a war against us, you're not thinking the war on men and women, battle of the sexes. You're there to keep us together. Women are the glue. Christina's first take, she went to aviation high school in New York. A class of majority teenage boys learned how to take part and put together in jet engines. You know, a little pitch, roll, and yaw, shake, rattle, and roll. There's two men in a helicopter. The gunner says to the pilot, "Are you going to rotate clockwise?" Cockwise? The pilot says, "Yaw." Ruined it. You kind of see where she's going with this. Men like to do manly things. They're putting together jet engines. Oh no, there aren't enough women pilots. My college roommate he spent his childhood on a runway. Did the catwalk on the runway. He was obsessed with planes. Like, do chicks even have it in them to be obsessed with something? It really doesn't seem like it. I don't know. Have you ever met a girl with a singular focus that's not about having a baby? She's saying boys' schools have a zero-tolerance culture of respect. Learned machismo. I don't know, man. This quote will loop us back to the start. Hundreds of millions of dollars in grants were awarded to study the plight of girls and to learn how to overcome the insidious bias against them. Parents throughout the country observed Take Your Daughter to Work Day. The Department of Health and Human Services launched a self-esteem enhancing program called Girl Power, and the United Nations Fourth World Conference on Women in Beijing, 1995, members of the American delegation presented the educational and philosophical deceits of American girls as pressing human rights. Okay, so if you're going to talk about a gender war, how about you just stop and think about China for 5 seconds? They killed every girl. Your iPhone is made by slaves. Everybody stop acting virtuous now and realize who the enemy is. I don't know how much longer I have before they completely shut off my audience. Bro, like, if there's really a patriarchy, how the hell did Kamala Harris get so high? I'll tell you how. It's been leaked recently. She's Willie Brown's lover. So women have an advantage in politics. You can just sleep around. I love that quote. If you want to complain, just think about China. Bro. That's a real fucking patriarchy. Run by Winnie the Pooh. Whoa, 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 whoa. We got a drop for that. I think the most interesting thing I found in this chapter is that men get higher on the SATs but get worse grades. I said this before. What the fuck are school grades measuring? Obedience. Men are smarter without trying. No Country for Young Men. This is what she's starting to get into. The least coveted female in human history is the Western female. Like, birth rates are plummeting. And again, I don't need to hit this point again. Go back and listen to the past 3 years. There's no patriarchy. There's a labor-archy. Like I said, if you could swing a hammer as fast as me, you too can break your back for minimum. Or you could look cute and be a receptionist. Equality. Alrighty, so this is extra fun, guys. I was just talking for 20 minutes, and the audio stopped recording. I've never had that happen before. Wonderful. I think we were somewhere in chapter 1. Fucking tits. She ended that chapter talking about the AAUW, Women's League. They helped modify education for women in the 80s and 90s. Dudes were cleaning house in academia, so they had to make all these group projects. So women are doing better because men are doing worse. Like, they sabotage men to make it look like chicks were doing better. Fuck, we lost 20 minutes. Christina said boys are 5 times more likely to get expelled. This number increases as recess time decreases. Boys got to blow off some steam. I came up with a good recess joke and I have to use it. What do Bigfoot children play at recess? Hopsquatch. Chapter 2, Save the Males. Research at McLean and Harvard Medical had found that psychologically healthy middle-class boys are anxious, alienated, lonely, isolated, despite outwardly content. The chapter gets more interesting. I'm only thinking chicks. You're still 0-4 in school shootings. She starts talking about Columbine. News stations said we had to change the way boys are raised in our homes and society. By interviewing boys and giving them tests that measure the unconscious attitudes, he claims to have found a truer picture of alienated and uncontent boys. Results of the study of normal everyday boys were deeply disturbing. They showed that while the boys on the surface, so the kids that pretend to be cool are the most fucked up. That's why you gotta let it out, bro. Like, you're not allowed to show it. It's so obvious that every man is fucking crumbling underneath the surface. The biggest, strongest men, they have to come into the liquor store to buy their bubbly beverages at the end of the night. She's got a half a chapter following program. It kind of got her in trouble. I learned that because of managed care, hospital administrators and staff are continuously looking for ways to generate revenue in their institute. She pissed off a hospital. Hospitals, glorified hotels. They make a profit. I don't know, bro. How many times do we have to hear it in these books? No one's coming to save us. And, like, men figure that out sooner than women because, I don't know, we're not hot or whatever. Like, once a chick isn't hot, they get all bitter because they didn't realize it earlier. You're on your own. It ain't men versus women. Every man for themselves. It's a battle royale out here. My pre-calc teacher in high school, he told me if there was a school shooter, he would have jumped out the window. That's a safe learning environment. I had a friend, he like drew on his paper one time. It was a health test. He turned it in at the end of the day. And he drew on the back of it because he finished early. The drawing was of a guy with a gun pointed to his head. So they send him to the guidance counselor. The guidance counselor expels him. I'm thinking, what the fuck? You took this suicidal kid and you put him in solitary confinement? Shouldn't you, like, be talking to him? Now let's expel the kid that we just thought might be... whatever. Quote, girl criminals are never taken to be representatives of girls in general, but when the boy reformers generalize from school killers to our sons, they include your son and mine. She's talking about the media. Like... girl criminals are a one-off, whereas boys, it could be anybody's son. Your son is a bloodthirsty, homicidal mass murderer. You read these books, Mindhunter, they say these people are aliens. It's not men, women. What the news should be saying, take care of your daughters or they're going to be on OnlyFans. Chapter 3, Why Johnny Can't Read or Write. This is the shortest chapter, more for educational examples. Mrs. Daughtry was a 7th grade teacher always looking to bring the best out of her students, which made her worry about some of the students having learning disabilities. In the Chicago school, she headed to the office to the filing cabinet, which is off limits to teachers. To her amazement, she discovered that a majority of the students were significantly above average in intelligence. A quarter of the class had IQs in the 120s, several in the 130s. This is all the top 90th percentile. And the worst classroom culprits were in fact brilliant with an IQ of 145. Oh, I've had this theory before. Education might be making a motherfucker dumber. She's saying that people that don't pay attention, you get it. Things get weird. Mrs. Daughtry, she's trying to manipulate the variables. Okay, so they're smart. I'll give them more work. Now the dumb kids in the class can't keep up, and the smart kids stop doing the work. The obedient kids couldn't learn that fast, and then the other kids just check out. The more you just group people together and take up more of their time. Education is about workloads. It ain't about teaching you how to think. Days go by, the principal asks, what's wrong, Mrs. Daughtry? Everybody's failing. She tells him the story and he goes, you shouldn't have been in that filing cabinet. Those aren't the student IQs. Those are their locker numbers. Hey, yo, what? It kind of made me not trust the book. And then there's all those, what is IQ even studying, man? She said earlier with the SATs. Let's hit them with the switcheroo. Different intelligence reacts different ways. You got all the auditory, haptical learning. If people think they're about to be taught, they put up a force field over their brain, especially dudes. Christina called it knowledge acquisition versus jazz improvisation. Boys needs hands-on. It's like even to this day, if I have a new job, I make them do the thing in front of me because that's how I learn. And a motherfucker, 2 weeks later, me, I don't understand what's happening, so then you quit. Just kidding, but that's an allegory for the school system. Ford, he set the whole fucking thing up. He said, I want a nation of workers, not thinkers. He's the dick that made the bell between the factory classes. You were in the middle of a beautiful nap and daydream. You wake up, go, 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 get to the next period. You only have 30 seconds to change out your books. And then she said boys need a greater emphasis on silent work. Or, let's have 2 fire drills a month and an active shooter every week. And then thirdly, boys need frequently testing. No! You should be checking on people's progress, yada, yada, yada. That's why boys can't read. What dinosaurs are illiterate people afraid of? The thesaurus. Chapter 4, The Moral Life of Boys. Gone are the inspiring biographies of the most important American president, inventors, scientists, and entrepreneurs. No military valor, no high adventure. On the other hand, stories about adventurous and brave women abound. Publishers seem to be interested. See what I'm saying? This is just like Boomer the book at this point. The culture war. She was ahead of the curve. And I don't know, bro. You read the math problems today. Ling Ling has 5 dumplings. Daquan has to sell 8 fake Samsungs. How many fluid ounces of Slurpee does Sanjay have to clean up? It's inclusive math. She's hitting at the bigger idea. Study harder. It's called cultural Marxism. All of a sudden it's evil to be a white dude. This is the real meat of the book, which, again, I don't want to sound trite. You've heard it for the past 2 years. More like 12. We're being attacked is my point, all of us. I don't know by who or why, but masculinity is the target right now. You can see how feminism is just to distract from the point that men are the ones being attacked. For real. Christina starts going deep. What morals do we see conglomerates feeding our young boys? Her study showed that boys consume media that makes them think violence is okay. 50% of boys agreed compared to 30% of girls to the question, a person has to lie and cheat sometimes in order to succeed. And then another one was, it's not cheating if everyone's doing it. 25% of boys said yes, 10% of girls. American Psychiatric Association tested it. And then boys still chose not to cheat. Like when they actually took a test, they're just saying in theory, men know how the fucking world works. Women. It kind of disproves that all boys underneath the surface are psychopaths. They tested it, and when given the opportunity, we choose to do good. Quote, genuine self-esteem comes with pride and achievement, which is the fruit of disciplined effort. Then she talks about Judy Mann for a whole half a chapter. That was the whole second wave feminism. We talked about orgasms that year instead. Like they were saying all masculinity is the seed of evil. So I'm saying it was thoroughly hijacked by the second wave. They called it macho-archy. I'm a macho man. Women defy physics. The heavier they get, the easier they are to pick up. Chapter 5. War and Peace. Continuing the themes. Too often we teach students to question principles before they understand them. And in the case, the professor was advising school students to question moral teachings and behavioral guidelines that are crucial to their well-being. Okay, we're in a war. That's why she called it that chapter. And tell me why it's a good idea to have drag queens in libraries. Tell me why it's a good idea that kids can't get tattoos, but they can irreparably change their biology by 12. Perhaps, in the pursuit of happiness, men and women take somewhat different paths. And isn't it more than a little patronizing to suggest that women are not free? They're not self-determining human beings. Quote, there have always been societies that have favored boys over girls. Ours may be the first to deliberately throw the gender switch. If we continue on our present course, boys tomorrow will become a second sex. And we should be equal rather than we both need each other. Like, she's talking about women programmers. It's a wasted potential. Once a girl hits 25, she's going to forget every coding language, and she's going to pursue her dream of getting cream pied. See what I'm saying here? Boys deserve the help. They need it. We could take it to the biggest theory. Who deserves to have their needs met? We certainly don't think hobos do. 90% of the homeless population is men. It's male privilege. So, in school, the remedial kids get extra attention. That kid's going to wind up on the factory line anyway. She makes really good points at the end. We give attention to people who... It's dumb. She's talking about the group projects before. In order to build one house, you need 10 different contractors. Men do not like to work together. She says, quote, not because women lack the talents to do things men do. Women can just be as formidable and enterprising as men when they set their minds to it, but fewer women than men do set their minds to it. Going back to the plane obsession, bro. Set your mind to it. It might be a mental disorder, okay? I'm not saying anybody's better. It's just we're different. So stop trying to be better. Quote, recovering the positions of the sexes is an unfair system. It should be one's idea of justice. A lopsided educational system in which boys are finally on the outside looking in inherently is unjust and socially divisive. It might be on purpose. My laptop is starting to overheat. I don't know how we're going to do the bonus section. We'll just make it like 5 minutes long. Quote, we are turning against boys and forgetting a simple truth, that the energy, competitiveness, and daring of normal, decent males is responsible for much of what is right in the world. Life is like a penis. It's easy, it's relaxed, and then women make it hard. Christina Hoff Sommers, dropping bombs. Patreon.com/Aneeth. Check it out before I can't reach anybody. There's $1 tiers. There's something for everybody. Harry shit on Instagram. I get 500 views for my 17,000 subscribers. And it's going to do it. Another edition of Nick's Nonfiction. The weather's changing. I'm going to have to, I don't know, find some shade next time for my computer. We get a random soundboard effect to end it. I just died of heat exhaustion. Nick Muniz, signing off. My computer feels like a pot of molten magma. So people think I'm getting angry at the listener. This isn't between you and me anymore. This is between me and the platforms. I just told you Instagram's got the shadow ban on lock. Reddit cannot be trusted as a distribution method anymore. It's 90% bots. People are calling it Fedit online. I'm honestly impressed. Like, they can show one IPS that your post is live, and then on another device you don't exist. Reddit is Chinese. They just straight up unperson people at this point. And bro, YouTube, fucking Susan Wojcicki, she finally stepped down. So they have this new CEO, Neil Monin, some Indian guy. They're about to Egypt pie YouTube. This guy, he says in every press conference, I favor the algorithm. They're just telling you, 1984, it's here. Like I said, I love you guys too much to quit, but I hate the fake system to give them so much energy. I'm just going to respond to the energy I'm getting. By the summer, I will be putting zero effort into the videos. Audio listeners are growing. For some reason, it's like split now. 200 core viewers and then 200 core audio. So seriously, I'm not going anywhere. I'll tell stories and put some effort into it. This is an in-between phase. And like I said, I'll keep doing the bonus segment as a bit for a little while. We'll always keep it at the top of the month. But yeah, bro, I got a music channel going, so just keep your heads up. I had some headlines here. Let's see how hot. Oh, that thing's hot. Here's why Russia's invasion of Ukraine is being called the TikTok War. The TikTok War. And then I found one. Ashton Kutcher tweets support for Ukraine, the home country of his wife Mila Kunis. Tweeting support for a TikTok war. You love her so much, how about you go fight it, Ashton? It's you remember in the Cold War they called them flash wars? So now we have TikTok wars. There's another fucking Cold War out here. How about a lighter story to end it? Hank the Tank, a 500-pound bear, was blamed for Lake Tahoe break-ins. Lake Tahoe, that's what it should be called. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Nick's Nonfiction, The War Against the Boys. Love you guys. That's the message. The show goes on. See y'all soon. Peace!